What's going on, everyone? Tommy P here, back today with another naturally obsessed look into football. And before I begin, I always want to preface by saying I am not a football expert. I'm just a fan who's naturally obsessed. And today, I'm going to be giving you my genuine, authentic reaction of what I think about the Arizona Cardinals trading a first-round pick for Marquise Hollywood Brown and a third-round pick. To be quite honest with you, when I first heard the news, I was beyond pissed off. I could not believe that a guy who has been very underwhelming throughout his NFL career, has dealt with injuries, has dealt with inconsistencies, could fetch a first-round pick. And I still cannot believe that he was traded for a first-round pick. But all that being said, biases aside, it's not as terrible of a move as I had initially reacted. Marquise Brown was never a great fit for that Baltimore Ravens offense. I know several Ravens fans who watch every single game who have told me the exact same thing. Every Ravens game that I've gotten the chance to watch, which I've gotten the chance to watch a lot of them because the Ravens are on national TV so much, he just was very, very underwhelming in that style of offense, despite the love that Lamar Jackson has for him, which it's a lot. If you saw his reaction on social media to the news of the trade, he's pissed. He loves that dude. But you know who else loves that dude? Kyler Murray. That's Kyler Murray's best friend. And you're at a point in time where you can say whatever you want about Kyler Murray. You will not find a bigger defender of Kyler Murray than me. And even I'm getting a little sick of these outbursts, these antics. He's acting like the new age NFL quarterback, which is a diva. They're becoming wide receivers, essentially, divas. There's exceptions, of course, though. You know, you're never going to hear an outcry like this from a Justin Herbert, from a Joe Burrow. So, and that's why I don't have Kyler Murray ahead of them as far as my quarterback tiers. Look, getting a little off track here, though. One of the primary reasons Cliff Kingsbury was chosen to be the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals was because they were dead set on drafting Kyler Murray. It was going to be an easy-ish, quote-unquote, transition to the NFL because Cliff Kingsbury runs a very similar style of offense as Lincoln Riley did at Oklahoma. So it was going to be a lot simpler for Kyler Murray to be productive in the NFL because the learning curve was going to be very, very little. He understood and ran the offense. And I see a very similar situation with Marquise Brown. Very good fit for the offense. You know, one of the primary needs, and the reason why I'm like, I don't hate it, I just don't like it, because I have a really hard time believing that a second-round pick wouldn't have gotten it done. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand you're getting the third-round pick back, so it's not like you're throwing away a first-round pick completely, but there are so many needs on this football team, and there were so many great players available who fit those needs at pick 23. I have a really, really hard time just completely accepting that, oh, right, okay, you know what, okay, first-round pick, Marquise Brown, you filled in. I have a hard time. But that being said, it's over, it's done with. There's no use in being pissed off about it right now. Marquise Brown fills one of the needs that the Cardinals have, and that's a legitimate number 2 outside wide receiver. A.J. Green's not going to get it done. I am still a little bothered that they brought A.J. Green back because despite some of the big plays he had last season, you could just tell by looking at him, A.J. Green is way too lackadaisical for this style of offense at this point of his career. He's on the wrong side of 30, dealt with a numerous amount of injuries. You cannot roll into this season off of the season you just had. And let's be honest, with all the losses during free agency that the Cardinals have experienced, with relying purely on the draft and scraps of free agents, it's going to be really, really hard to set the expectations for them to return to the playoffs. But you're in a key year with Kyler Murray's growth. You're in a key year where you need to very, very quickly decide what his long-term future is or isn't for the Arizona Cardinals. They've already picked up his fifth-year option, so you know, barring a trade, which I don't see happening and I don't want to happen, he's here for a minimum of 2 more years. Marquise Brown was in the same draft class. His fifth-year option was picked up. So you have Marquise Brown now for a minimum of 2 years. And if he can be as productive in this offense as I think he's going to be, you're getting him for a steal. This upcoming year, you're only paying your number 2 wide receiver $2 million. After that, it goes up, and barring a meltdown of disappointments that he's not a good fit in this offense, you're paying him in his second year with the Cardinals $13 million. You know, then the fifth-year option goes, you take the top 5 averages, and you pay him that. So that's why he's making so much money, and it's yet to be determined whether or not he's worth that or not. But we'll see. We'll see, and I have a feeling by halfway through the season, we're going to know whether or not we got a gem or if we got completely 100% hosed by this trade with the Ravens. I was joking with some friends last night saying this is karma for stealing DeAndre Hopkins from the Texans. You know what I mean? Like, it feels that way, but it might not be that way because, let's also be honest, the kid's young. Kid's still on a rookie deal, and the injuries he's dealt with are not career-threatening injuries. They've just hampered and put a pause on his growth and development. So can you save him? It's entirely possible. It's not like he's a wide receiver that tore his Achilles. He's dealt with some hamstring injuries, you know, some ankle injuries, things like that. And I'm talking about NFL and college along the way, the injuries that he's had. So what do I think about this going forward? I think this has the potential of being a very, very sneaky, good draft day trade for Steve Keim. And he needs it because I am this close to being on the fire Steve Keim train. I'm already on there with Cliff Kingsbury. And I said last night my instant reaction was fire both of them. After sleeping on it and after calming down, I'm not there yet. You know, Steve Keim has definitely had a hard time. And you have to look at it like this. I'm sorry to have my thoughts all over the place. I just don't want to miss anything. Steve Keim does not have the best drafting track record. He has a phenomenal trade track record. Therefore, in his mind, and I can get on board with this, why am I going to draft someone that I think I know about versus someone that I'm pretty sure I know about? It would be different if it was Marquise Brown being traded in hopes of him being your number 1 receiver. Then I would have a completely different take on this trade. But a number 2 receiver, this has the potential to work out in favor for the Arizona Cardinals. It really, really does. I still have a really hard time accepting the first-round pick, but you know what? I can live with it. And let's be honest also, if we really, really want to look at it like this, say they take a wide receiver at pick 23, which I don't think they would have. Everyone that I know that has inside information has said they were on the verge of taking O-line. Their top O-lineman had already been drafted, so he was off the board. And then they were looking at Tyler Linderbaum, a center, to sit behind Rodney Hudson for a year, because I believe this is Rodney Hudson's last year on his contract. But they decided to go with a guy that can help them this year. Help them this year, not sit for a year and then we'll get something out of him next year. If you're drafting a wide receiver at 23, he's going to be your number 2 wide receiver at best next year. Rondale Moore was a second-round pick, and he was their 4th wide receiver. 4th wide receiver. So in a late first round, at best, you're getting a second wide receiver. So if you're trading for that anyways, a guy who's already has really, a proven track record of production, and I know I said very lackluster. I'm not trying to be like, oh, we've seen, but here's this, and I saw this stat, and I thought that's a good argument for. Marquise Brown has played in 3 postseason games with the Baltimore Ravens. In 2 of those 3 games, he has over 100 yards receiving. What does that tell you? The guy can perform in big moments. And you need that if for some reason the Cardinals are able to make the postseason this year or next year, because chances are you're playing a good team, and that team's going to zone in on DeAndre Hopkins. So you need that number 2 guy opposite DeAndre Hopkins to be able to handle the pressure and deliver. Marquise Brown has proven he has the ability to do that. So, long story short, do I love the trade? No. Do I like it? Yeah. I like it a lot. And I really, really hope it's one of those trades that works out for us, because after a coach who doesn't deserve it getting an extension, and after a general manager who also probably doesn't deserve it getting an extension, there is zero room, zero margin for error going forward as you try to build a long-term ensemble of skill position players, defensive players around your franchise player in Kyler Murray. Zero margin for error. So we'll see what happens, but I really, really like the potential that this move brings to the team going forward. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.